Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Around the Leagues podcast. I'm your host, Luke Parrish, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Keanan Allstott. How you doing, Keanan?
Oh, I'm doing above average, Luke. I'm glad you asked. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. It's a good Monday. It's a better Monday than I'm used to, so I'll
Hey,
take it.
Monday's best day of the week. You can't. I wish every day was a Monday.
I will pass. Look for that to the second half, but to each his own, I guess.
Facts.
It was a good weekend.
Great
I don't know
weekend.
about you. Saturday night was pretty cool.
It was really cool.
Friday night went out to dinner with my little brother. He came home for school, whatever, from school, and we got to dinner. And I'm like, all right, it's gonna be a good weekend. I'm just trying to relax a little bit. We go to Denny's, the staple of any healthy dinner. And I'm telling you, this waitress walks over with our drinks and spills that shit all over us. So,
what else?
I mean, it's like dripping into my lap. Pants are soaked, feeling great. But you know what? The weekend can only get better from there.
Woo!
And that's what happened Saturday night.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, I thought the fight was going to go a little bit longer. Obviously, we were hoping for rounds want to go as long as it can, but Tyson Fury whooped some ass.
He did. He did.
Boy, what's your main takeaway, I guess, from Saturday night?
Boy, calling that a fight's pretty generous, ain't it? That was more of an assault. Last week we talked, gave our predictions on what we thought was going to happen. You said Deontay Wilder was going to knock out Tyson Fury. I had Tyson Fury winning in a decision. Boy, neither one of those two happened. I thought Deontay Wilder was going to come out. I thought he was going to be aggressive early. Turns out that wasn't the case. He was content with losing every round, and that's what happened.
It's a good strategy.
Yeah, I mean,
hey, you can't build a comeback if you don't get down big. So
yeah, I mean, I'm not a world titleist, but boy, that seems like a bold strategy. So, getting into it, you have the WBC heavyweight champion of the world, Deontay Wilder, the lineal heavyweight champion of the world, Tyson Fury, shooting the fair one for the second time. December 1st, 2018, they go to a 12-round, 36-minute Broadway. This was round 13. Both men, fantastic, spectacular entrances. You had Tyson Fury literally being carried on a throne to the ring. You had Deontay Wilder in his $40,000 costume that looked really, really cool, actually, making his way down the ringside. Jimmy Lennon Jr. with the call. Kenny Bayless, the third man in the ring. First round, Tyson Fury came out very aggressive. Applied much more pressure than what I thought he was going to. I thought Deontay Wilder, if he was going to win, he had to win it early. And, boy, he was just real tentative with that right hand. It was going to be the left jab versus the right overhand, and Deontay Wilder just did not want to throw it. I thought Tyson Fury got up 10-9, one round one. Round two, arguably the closest round of the fights. Some people had Deontay winning this round. I thought Tyson Fury, he connected with the jab, snapping the head back. Deontay Wilder still a little cold with that right hand. He did connect a couple times. Never really put Tyson Fury in too much of a danger. Tyson Fury with the Fury, no pun intended, at the end of round two. I believe he won that round. Round three, this is where it gets interesting. Whenever these two men look back at their careers, this might be the defining moment for each of them. Tyson Fury, right overhand, right behind the left ear. So you could argue maybe it's an illegal punch. Deontay Wilder hits the deck second time in his career, I believe. 10-8
changes
round.
the whole fight.
Oh, it does.
Changes the whole fight.
It does. Honestly, they low-key could have stopped that fight in the third. I mean, after he got up, Fury right back on a 1-2, snapping the head back. Spaghetti legs.
I saw I think it was an NFL, but I think it was AJ Brown, the Titans receiver. He said, "Man, I think Wilder had sex before the fight because he didn't have his legs underneath him." I was like, "He's got a point." I remember Sports Science used to do something about that. They used to do they had like a segment of they had a guy basically go and have sex like an hour before his fight, and it was like showing how bad it was for him. I'm like, damn, I mean, that's a thing to study, but I mean,
I tell you, I mean, Deontay Wilder did something because he came out, and I mean, he was gassed. He was gassed. I mean, he came out no energy. I mean, by the time he got knocked down, the fight was over. Into the third, he was just getting worked badly. He loses that round 10-9. Fourth round comes out. He's leaning real heavily into Tyson Fury. Clinching, tying up. They're doing some dirty boxing inside. Tyson Fury putting in work, landing power punches, snapping the head back. Deontay Wilder, I mean, like I said, I'm not a world title boxer, right? But if I'm fighting for the lineal title, if the guy's throwing it right here, maybe don't have your hands right here. Maybe, maybe put them up, maybe block them. Like I said, I'm not a world titleist. That's what I would do, though. Tyson Fury 10-9 in the fourth. Fifth round. This round, very interesting. I think a lot of people, this will be the round they remember the most. Tyson Fury comes out, body shot, left ribs, puts Deontay Wilder on the deck, second time in the fight. Later on in the round, Kenny Bayless had warned both fighters. Enough with the dirty boxing inside after he calls for the break. Tyson Fury connects with a shot, gets a 1-point deduction. Into that round, it's a rare 9-8 round for Tyson Fury. He's up 49-44 at this point, I believe. 49-43, actually. I mean, this was an assault. I mean, at this point, I believe I tweeted when I was live tweeting the final on Saturday night, Deontay Wilder needed to solve a puzzle that he had no pieces for. He forget not winning a round. He didn't win a minute. He lost every aspect of this fight. Round 6 comes out. His corner honestly should have stopped this fight before the 6th. But in the 6th, again, he's leaning into him, spaghetti legs wobbling into the ropes, just wants nothing to do, doesn't want to get in the pocket, doesn't want to trade hands. Tyson Fury can smell the blood. You have that great visual at the end of the 6th. Blood pouring out of the left ear of Deontay Wilder. You just see Tyson Fury splattered with blood, gets in the clinch, and then you just see Tyson Fury lick the blood off the shoulder. Said he wanted to taste blood. That's exactly what he did. What an all-time great visual. All-time great visual. Tyson Fury wins the 6th pretty handily. 7th round comes out. This is where it ended. Deontay Wilder gets in the corner, has his guard up, has the earmuffs on. Tyson Fury splitting the guard. Pow, 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 working the body, pow to the head. Kenny Bayless stopped the fight mercifully.
Wilder has his hands here, taking him right to the face. Right to the dome.
I mean, and Deontay Wilder, his corner threw in the towel. Kenny Bayless respects the wishes of the corner. Fight is stopped. Tyson Fury, the new WBC lineal heavyweight champion of the world. What a fight. Luke, you watched it live on Saturday night as well. What did you think watching that from a casual boxing, MMA combat sports perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think I understand what Wilder said that his corner threw in the towel, because it's a title fight. You want to go out. It's basically get knocked out or get a knockout. But
sure,
I mean, he was getting his shit handed.
It was bad. It was bad.
I mean, seeing like Fury was using his weight constantly, just always leaning on him when they're hugging it out or whatever, and
let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about that. Yeah. They weighed in. Tyson Fury weighs in 273, a good 273. Didn't have too much fluff on him like an Andy Ruiz. Had looked real good for 273. Deontay Wilder, he comes in 19 pounds heavier from their first fight, 233. He didn't look like he carried that weight well at all, did he?
No. He just looks so slim. I mean, obviously you're going to look slim next to a dude who's gargantuan, but
sure.
Fury he's just built a lot different. I think you can see because Wilder's a lot more just like shredded. He's got the long arms. Fury's just a huge upper body that you're not gonna hold up. And he's saying that he's leaning on him. As a casual fan, I'm like, come on, dude, just throw punches and win the old-fashioned way. But hey, it was legal. It worked. It got the job done. It got him the title, so I can't really complain. But I don't really watch a whole lot of boxing. I'll watch UFC, but that's about it. But I'll say I paid for it. Like a good civilian would.
Yeah.
So I found it perfectly legal on whoever it was that pay-per-viewed it. It was a good fight.
Now let me ask you this: do you think the fight should have been stopped sooner than what it did?
No. I mean, I think there was still some hope that Wilder could land at least one punch and get himself kind of back into it. But I mean, looking back, it's easy to say no, it should have been called early. But I think at the time, there was no reason to call it. Just saying, you never know what his right hand's going to do. He could have landed one good punch and kind of got himself kind of back like kind of recouped himself a little bit and got himself going again. So you never know, but yeah,
and
great.
Now, I've seen a lot of people talk about the post-fight, give their reactions to the fight. One thing I haven't heard a lot of people talk of, throughout the undercard, on the main card, they have live look-ins into both the Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder locker rooms. You had Tyson Fury just sitting there chilling on the couch with his wife, watching TV and all that, but you had Deontay Wilder pacing back and forth in his locker room. I mean, dude probably paced 1.5 miles before he got to the ring. He's sitting there getting stretched out. He's like, oh, man, doing the slap boxing gimmick, getting stretched, just pacing him. I mean, do you think he gassed himself out before the fight started?
It's possible. It's very possible. I know. I mean, definitely, it's one thing to get loose, and I mean, you can't go out there cold. I mean, it's kind of what your walkout's going to do, and you're going to get. And I mean, I don't remember exactly, but Fury came out first, right?
He did, yeah.
So he gets to the ring first, so he can kind of get a little bit of extra work in there, just kind of walking around, jumping, whatever.
Sure.
But I mean, yeah, you can easily wear yourself out just from walking. I do it daily at this point. So, I mean, you would think that being a professional athlete of his caliber, it wouldn't be such a big deal. But
sure,
I think it definitely is at least something to consider.
And it's like you analyze a lot of team sports, right? You do a lot of video review on NFL. You write about NBA. You watch a lot of baseball throughout the year. You don't do a whole lot of individual sports. You don't do a lot of golf or combat sports or anything like that. Myself, I'm kind of the opposite. In terms of the stuff that I analyze, I like doing the combat, the individual more. I mean, with team sports, I feel like you can rely on your teammates to pick up your slack should you be having an off day. These guys go out there. If they're having an off day, it could.
You're screwed.
In the most extreme situations, it could cost them their life.
Yeah.
I mean, you have the deaths in boxing happening every year, deaths in MMA. If you come out there cold, or if you come out there not ready to trade hands, it only takes one time to snap your head on the back of the canvas for something absolutely devastating to happen. Thankfully, nothing like that happened on Saturday night. But I tell you, it did not go the way I thought it was going to go. Deontay Wilder looked scared. He looked defeated before the initial bell rang. Tyson Fury absolutely 100% dominated from the initial bell to when the fight got stopped. They have the contract that says they could shoot the fair one for the third time if both men want it. I don't think there's a need for it.
I don't think Wilder's gonna go back out there. There's no point.
You can't get more decisive than what happened on Saturday night. Even if you went out there and knocked him out in the first, people will say, "Oh, that's a fluke."
What if he went punch?
Yeah, you go out there for 19
you get manhandled the whole time. Yeah, it's a whole different story.
19 and a half rounds or 19 and a half minutes, and you don't win one of them. Whoo! I don't need to see that a third time.
If I recall, Wilder had one, maybe two good connections in the first round, didn't he? He had the first solid punch, I believe, and then Fury just kind of like, all right.
He laid it on. He laid it on thick.
Yeah.
Thicker than a Snickers, boy. He laid it on. And Tyson Fury, probably one of the greatest comebacks in sports history. If you think about it, 5 years ago, wins the titles off Klitschko. He vacates all of them. He dealing with suicide, depression. Gets up to over 400 pounds, loses all the weight, comes out. He gets that draw. Many people, including myself, we talked about it last week on the podcast, believe he won that first fight. This time left no doubt. The judges, the scorecards were released on Saturday night. 2 judges had it 59-52, as I did for Tyson Fury. 1 judge had it 58-53, giving Deontay Wilder the second round. I tell you what, though. The next fight, if you're talking heavyweight boxing, Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, 2 Brits. They could put 115,000 in Wembley Stadium. I know you're a soccer fan. I know you watch a little bit of English soccer. You know how many people can fit in Wembley. They could fit 115,000 in there for the undisputed title. I think that's the fight to make. I hope they make that fight soon. Deontay Wilder, thanks for coming. It's been real. It's been fun, but go ride the pine for a little bit. It's
you might have to. He's going to have to take all that time to recover anyway.
It's time for them UK boys to shine. So, but what a fight! What a night on Saturday! What a night!
It was. I mean, it was my first experience watching boxing live, and I didn't know what to expect. So I mean, I was disappointed not that it wasn't 12 rounds at a sick ass knockout for Wilder.
Sure.
I mean, I'll take it. It's not a bad first experience.
No,
but
no.
You know what else was Saturday?
What's that?
Baseball back.
Did you say baseball's back?
Yes, sir.
Did you say baseball's back?
Yes, sir. Cubs are back. I believe there was games Friday afternoon. I can't remember. I think Kansas City and played somebody, and the Red Sox played a college or something. But Saturday, the Cubs came back.
Yeah.
You know, it's my favorite time of year when I get my first dick slap of the season. Man. Contreras came out bottom of the second, leading off the inning, and he just sent that bitch to the moon and back. It was awesome. I love me some baseball.
I tell you.
I mean, now we got spring training in full force. Cubs are on every day. They got their brand new network is kicked off over here. Yeah. So I just watch literally Cubs game, then watch a little documentary, go back, watch some watch a classic game, watch Kerry Wood pitch 20 strikeouts, and then boom, game back on. Let's go. So
let's go. I like that.
Cool. Another month or so till regular season kicks off.
And, you know, like this, I mean, obviously spring training, there's not a whole lot you can take away from it. I mean, you got guys that, you know, come out there, they're going to throw an inning full of sliders, and they don't care if they give up 6 home runs, you know?
Yeah.
You have batters that it doesn't matter if guys are throwing meatballs. They're going to take the first 4 pitches, you know? So there's really not a whole lot you could take away from spring training other than if your guy tears an ACL. And that's pretty significant, you know?
I did see
a season, you know?
Anthony Rizzo came up, I think it was in the bottom of the first, and he had a 3-0 count, and I can't remember, I don't know if he chased or what, but he was mic'd up during the game, and he went over to Chris Bryant between innings. He goes, I had this dude 3-0, and he threw me a slider. He's like, it's spring training, man. I'm trying to get my swings in. You're throwing me sliders on 3-0. But, I mean, that's kind of fun. I respect it. You got to go get yours.
Yeah, I mean, like, hey, some of these guys are playing for contracts. You know what I mean? I mean, not everybody's out there that, you know, aces aren't throwing every day. Your number 2's not throwing every day. You have some guys that are AAA, AA guys that are trying to get, you know, maybe the final spot on a team, maybe trying to, you know, maybe make an audition for a team later on in the season come, you know, trade deadline. So, I mean, this is a time where you get to see maybe not the best that you got, but maybe you get to see what you have should your team have to go into their farm system. You know, the Yanks
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No,
you go ahead.
All right, I'll go ahead. You know, like the Yankees played this weekend. They played the Blue Jays and the Rays. They lost both games, but you can't take anything away from it. No. It's like these guys are playing at George Steinbrenner Field. You know, they're in Tampa Bay drinking mimosas in between innings. You know, like, I mean, they're just trying to get the rust off. You know, I don't know, man. I think I'm excited baseball's back. Don't get me wrong. As long as nobody from my favorite team gets injured, I think spring training's a success.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I know. I don't know how often. I don't watch a lot of different teams in spring training. I will once regular season kicks off. I'll watch whatever's on, but
sure.
I don't care.
Shouts out MLB TV, you know?
Yeah. I don't care enough about like the Orioles to watch them in spring training.
Dude.
But
the Orioles fans don't care enough about the Orioles to watch them, you know?
You know, the playoffs probably. So, I mean, it's weird to see, like, I know the Cubs, they have like the split squad and stuff like that. And I know opening night of spring training, it was about the first half of their batting lineup was their starting, what you would expect. They had Bryant lead off like they're going to try out to start the year.
Sure.
And come in second day, I think they played the Dodgers, and they came out and they played the guys who started day one. They sat, and then the guys who replaced them in day one started, and we got to see kind of who the depth guys are, who the rotational guys are. And
sure.
Eventually, they'll be playing 2 games a day. They'll have half the squad at one park, half the squad at the other. So it's just cool to see. I mean, you're getting it's like, what, I don't know how many players even invited to camp, but you have a bunch of guys basically playing every single day, trying to earn either a spot on the 25 or on the 40. And I mean, it's just a day full of baseball in the sun. It doesn't get any much better than that.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I mean, I understand why they don't do it in Indianapolis. I get why they don't do it in Cincinnati. I mean, here in Evansville, it's 35 degrees and freezing rain, like I get it. Tampa Bay's pretty, nicer. But, I think
I don't know. You're making a great pitch.
No pun intended, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I wish with spring training, it doesn't exactly have that middle of the summer doubleheader kind of feel, but it is nice to see, guys get their at-bats in. I get a little less excited about an Aaron Judge home run in February is what I would.
Oh, I'm sorry, a what?
Yeah, well, yeah.
A dong shot or a dick slap. Get it right.
Sorry. Not exactly keeping up with the kids nowadays, you know what I mean? But no, I get a little less excited about that than what I would, on Sunday Night Baseball in July.
Right. Yeah.
But, it is nice to see guys, if a guy has a real great spring training, that doesn't always carry over into the regular season. You can't really take much away from it.
No.
But I'm pretty excited. One thing I do want to talk about, did you see the stories about the Houston Astros this week? Confiscating signs.
Oh, yeah.
Fans?
They're still stealing signs, dude. They can't stop.
Oh, my God. Like, now they're doing it on camera. Oh, man. Oh, my God. It's so funny, dude. Like, you got to just take them right here on the chin. You lost. I mean, right here is what you got to do.
I just don't understand how they've admitted to cheating and apologized and everything, and there's still been nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing to make of it. They're just, whatever. Don't fix
I mean, Manfred looks bad, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, Manfred, he could honestly save his reputation and probably make a whole hell of a lot of people happy by just vacating the title. He doesn't have to punish the players. He doesn't have to go back on his word of immunity. He doesn't have to give lifetime suspensions or whatever. Take the title away. That's all you have to do. If you want to save the integrity, if you want to make the Players Association, you want to make the fans happy, take the title away. That's all you have to do. I don't understand what is so hard to get about it.
Yeah. But hey, if they take away 2017.
Oh, I know. I know what you're going to say. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
The Cubs are technically champions for 2 years. Nobody would have won between 16 and 18.
Hold on. You want me to make it better for you?
Go for it.
Manfred hasn't released the Red Sox punishment yet.
I thought he was supposed to release that on Friday, but hey, just saying, hypothetical here. If he strips that one,
I'm just saying,
3 years.
Three-peat. No, and honestly, he was supposed to release the Red Sox stuff like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Like, I guess something came up. He had to re-interview everybody. Okay, that's fine, but if he punishes the Red Sox more than he's punished the Astros, one, he looks like a villain in this. Two, the Astros, if you thought they were getting beamed before, they're going to take it on the chin this year. I mean, honestly, if they want to make it right, they should vacate the titles from both years, send a very strong message that it's not going to be tolerated. Cut a deal with the Players Association saying if something like this happens again in the future, that they have the right to punish the players and just move on. You're going to have the Astros go to every visiting Major League park for 6 months and get booed out of the stadium. I mean, it's going to be playoff atmospheres for 6 months every time the Astros go on the road. And it's like, if Manfred's going to protect them saying, oh, you can't beat them, I mean, they're gonna slap these guys even harder and give Manfred the bird as they take their punishments. Like,
yeah. It'll be really ironic if somebody hits, if they do get beaned or whatever, and the pitcher who throws to whoever hits them gets suspended, but nobody on the Astros gets it. It's like, I mean, hitting a guy with a baseball versus cheating for 2.5 years. Slightly different in my eyes.
And it's like one gets you a World Series, the other gets the guy on first.
Yeah. I don't know. First base is pretty hard to come by.
I know. Only happens like 40% of the time, like. What's the World Series percentage? 60.
If you would have asked me about 4 or 5 years ago, I would have said about 0. I believe Houston got walked off last night, which is good. It's we're off to a good start to the season. I can't remember. I can't remember who they were playing. It might have been Tampa Bay. Walked them off, bastards.
There we go. That's what I like to hear. I mean, I think I don't know, man. The Astros, come regular season, Dusty Baker. I mean, he's a good head coach. I mean, he's never had too much October success. He's well respected as far as
he should have in 2003.
I mean, well,
Steve Hartman, you dick.
Oh, we're still sour about that? Oh, wow.
I mean, if you're gonna say he doesn't have postseason success,
sorry. I mean, but no, I mean, Dusty, he's got a hell of a challenge. I mean, he doesn't have Garrett Cole. Justin Verlander's probably collecting Social Security at this point. I mean, Jose Altuve. I mean, shoot. I mean, without a buzzer on him, who knows how many home runs he hits? Did I say that? Sorry about that. I don't know, man. Like, I think.
I'm sorry Chapman couldn't get it done with you guys, but he could with us. Sorry.
Oh, did you really go there?
I think I did.
Did you really go? Okay.
To be fair, he did blow Game 7 in 2016, and they had to come back. But hey, he still got a ring.
Hey, well, yeah. They don't remember that as much as they remember the bottom of the 10th,
Yeah.
Rajay Davis, he was a legend for about 8 outs. And then it was right back to being Rajay Davis. No, that's funny, man. But come October, when Chapman gets that final out, just hit my jack, being like, hey, man, I apologize for that comment.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I feel it. No, I'm excited. Baseball season's back. We got games. Even though they're spring training, we got, the regular season. They're not doing the Tokyo series this year, right? So everything's going to start first weekend of April, I believe.
Yeah, but I do think right? I believe the Cubs end up playing in St. Louis, but that's later in the year. Or not in St. Louis.
Well, they play in London, don't they?
They play St. Louis in London, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's in June, July.
Yeah, because Yanks and Red Sox did that last year, and that was a fun 2-game series. That was, granted, center field, 385, 18-foot fence, still a hell of a lot of fun. 50 runs scored between the 2 games. I really enjoyed watching those 2 games on Saturday and Sunday. But, the Cubs and Cardinals going over there this year, the games, I'm excited this year, man. I think, baseball, it's really top heavy this year. I think you got maybe 4 or 5 teams who can stake a legitimate claim to having a chance at winning a World Series this year. But I think with the playoff picture, after you get done with those 4 or 5 teams, and I'm talking about New York, I'm talking about the Dodgers, I'm talking about the Astros and the AL West.
The Tigers.
No, I wouldn't. I don't know about the Tigers. But, after you get done with those kind of teams, the wild cards, you don't know what's going to go on with the wild cards.
No.
In terms of the individual awards, I can't tell you who's going to win Cy Young. Other than in the NL, I know who's going to win the NL Cy Young. I don't know who's winning the MVPs or anything. I don't. It's just, I think it's going to be great. Yeah. And DeGrom's going for a 3-peat. I know you were wondering who's he going to pick. DeGrom's going with a 3-peat this year. Okay.
Okay, I really thought it was going to be Tyler Chatwood.
Oh, Tyler. He didn't even pick Tyler.
Probably not.
No, he didn't. He's honest. He's honest with himself. But,
oh, man.
Yeah. What else we got? I
know you wanted give a little shout out.
Stop.
To that, whatever that guy's name is in Calgary or whatever.
Oh my God.
Or no, is it the Hurricanes?
Yeah,
I have no idea.
All right. So we got to talk. Toronto plays the Carolina Hurricanes on Saturday
We're talking
night.
hockey.
We're talking hockey. We'll snipe Selly.
boys.
Carolina needs an emergency goaltender. So they choose a 42-year-old Zamboni driver. Dude's job is literally to clean ice. And they're like, hey, can you act as a dead body and guard the goal over there? Yeah, I can. Toronto loses 6-3 to a guy named Dave Ayers, a professional ice cleaner.
Professional.
Dude, I hate it, dude. It makes my eyes water with rage.
I saw
I hate that.
Chell had said that they were going to come out and give him the cover next year as a joke. I feel like that'd be pretty funny.
Dude, I mean, the fact that you can only put 3 on a guy who gets paid with free hot dogs and front row seats
and lemonade,
games, like you lose to that guy. Like, literally, Carolina was just like, eeny, meeny, Dave! Like, oh my God. So Toronto, just, if you feel ashamed, you should be. You have a professional goalie, a guy who gets paid money to play goalie. He gave up 6.
But hey, he probably cleans ice really well, and that's the trade-off. It's reciprocal.
The Canes, congrats to the Canes, man, but I'm salty, if you can't tell. If that costs the Leafs a playoff spot because they lose to a Zamboni driver, I might lose my marbles, man. I really might. I really might.
That is, it's a funny story, but I remember you texting me that night. Just a classic.
Oh,
can't make it up.
No, you can't. And it's like, if you're playing a dude has never played an NHL game, right? Dude goes to NHL games. He works them. He's literally on the ice during the intermissions, right? That's what he does. He's out there driving his little machine, waving at the kids. Maybe sometimes he'll take a shirt gun and blast him into the 4th row. But they literally called him, and the Toronto lost at home too. It's not like Dave was sleeping in his bed when he got the call. They were like, hey, Dave, you want to go up north for a night? And he was like, yeah. Like, dude slept in a hotel room. He probably didn't great sleep. He was probably anxious, staying up the whole night. He was like, oh, this is my dream, Oh, my God.
How does that even work? Like, do they have a designated guy, or do they just pick somebody?
Honestly, I don't know how the emergency goaltender stuff works. I assume that means, like, both your guys get injured, and it's like, hey, you don't want Ovechkin playing, behind the goal. So it's like, you can literally choose anybody as long as they're willing to sign, like, a waiver and, like, a 24-hour contract saying, hey, we're gonna pay you circus peanuts and lemonade if you, go get us a win tonight. And he was like, you know what? That sounds like a good deal. I like that. It's like,
did he get to clean the ice before that third intermission? Maybe he rigged it a little bit.
Like, I don't even know if Duke could ice skate. I mean, do you really need to know how? You're just standing in one spot,
That is true.
Like, goodness gracious. Like, congrats to the Canes, but the Leafs, man, I'm embarrassed, dude. That is embarrassing. That is shameful. No. But if they do put that dude on the cover of Chell next year, I mean, respect. I respect that.
I'd get behind it. I'd probably get it. I'd pre-order it. Pre-order the deluxe.
Edition?
Yeah, hell yeah. Gotta do it for the boys.
It would be like one of those things where they put like a cutscene in the intro, like when you first open the game. It would be like Dave Ayers, legend. And
you just see like a Zamboni comes across the screen real slow. Half clapper top cheddar boy.
Oh God, dude, that's bad. That's bad. So, what do we got next? I'm tired of this. We got to talk about something else. My pride's hurt too much.
The NFL Draft Combine that is coming up this week. I know.
So this is your wheelhouse, right? This is what you spend. How many hours do you think you spend on draft coverage?
And what time frame?
Well, all right. So this is probably your busy season, right?
Yeah.
So in the month of February, how much tape have you watched? How many hours have you devoted to making up your making up your draft board?
February alone, I've probably spent 20 hours on film.
Okay.
But I think I've graded like 50-something players this month. I'm up to 300 almost total since about August. You start in August and then go to April and start it back over.
Since August, how many hours of tape have you watched?
Shit. I can't count. I mean, it's... Well, I have 300 players graded for this draft, and I probably had about 100 players that I graded who ended up going back to school. So that's 400 right there.
And what do you average? 10 minutes per player?
45 minutes.
45 minutes a player?
Yeah. So we're talking quite a bit of time. I mean, I try to spend like 6 hours a day on it.
Yeah.
Not all on film, but either on film and like if a guy has injury, you have to read about that, or if he's got
sure.
Like that. So
sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much just countless around the clock. Wake up like today. I woke up at 6:30 and I watched film until about 10:30.
Yeah.
And I'll probably go back to it about 3 or 4 o'clock tonight. Watch a little bit more until they catch up. But
so this is your bread and butter. This is what you like to do in your free time. So tell us about your research. Tell us about a little bit about your mock draft and what you're looking at in terms of your board here.
Yeah. So basically, every day I write some sort of report. Either just I watch a guy say what he does well, what he doesn't do well, what he can work on, red flags, injuries, criminal issues, anything like that. But then I have. Ever since I think it was my freshman year at Wabash, maybe. So 3.5, 4 years ago. I don't do it. No, 4.5 years ago. My math is off. I've been writing. I've written for probably 7 different places at this point. So I change it up as much as I can. So I try to stay at one place for a while, but I just write as much as I can. Do draft profiles, mock drafts, what to expect. I had stuff come out today about. So the combine kicks off. It kicked off last night with quarterbacks, receivers, and I think tight ends flying into Indy and doing interviews. And then I believe the 27th they start doing on-field workouts, which they moved to prime time, which pisses me off because it's all at night. I remember at Wabash, man, who was the rhetoric professor?
Drury?
Yeah, Drury. It was Drury. I was watching the combine in his class. It was the year John Ross broke the record.
The 40 record?
40-yard dash. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was watching that in class, and I started celebrating, and he was like, dude, what are you doing? And he let me leave class. He's like, we're not doing anything today. He's like, if you want to go watch that, you can watch it. I don't care. So I just left class, went and watched the combine all day, and it was great. So
was it Sarah Drury or Jeff Drury?
Jeff.
Shouts out Jeff, man.
Yeah. Absolutely. He made it so much easier on me. So
Shouts out to Wabash, man. We're both graduates now, and now we can recollect and think about some of our more pleasant times there now that we don't have to deal with comps and exams.
The stress, the nightmare that it was. But so I mean, you got guys that will be having I had to think about today about my favorite sleepers on the offensive side of the ball. I believe tomorrow my defensive guys come out. So obviously, you're not going to be looking at first-round guys all over the place. You only have 32 picks in the first round, so you got to have – there's, 256 picks in the draft. So
give or take.
No, it's exact.
Well, even with, comp
I believe they add 32 comp picks every year. That way it comes out to 256. So you've got –
my bad.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to at least keep tabs on all those guys, so it's hard to keep up. You've got to watch every single one of them to make sure you know what you're doing. So that's what I like to do. I mean, I'll do it. I mean, you can follow me on my Twitter. I'll have it. I'll be posting stuff about it. I'll do everything I can to keep everybody informed. Because I'm trying to keep myself informed. So, just yesterday I was watching a guy.
And for the people in here that don't follow you on Twitter or don't get on Twitter, what websites can they go to find your analysis?
You can go on the Viking Age. It's a Vikings blog, which if you don't know, I'm a Vikings fan, so I cover.
Yeah, can't confirm.
So the Viking Age, that's my main Vikings one, and then I will post stuff on my Twitter it's at Luke Parrish _NFL every day, just a report of some sort. Either it'll be like a cut up of a clip or just like simply words or a thread or rankings, whatever it may be. But yeah, I mean nothing crazy. I try to get one article in a week and then a few posts a day, a few tweets a day. So
yeah,
I know my running back rankings came out last week because I finished running back film for the most part, except for like a couple. I think it was a handful of Division II guys. I'm like, I don't think you're gonna crack my top 20, so don't worry about it yet.
That UDFA grade, man, you gotta love that.
Absolutely. Hey, you'll be happy. Calvin Throckmorton. He's still in my undrafted. I had him there last year. He didn't going back to school.
All right, guys. So let's talk about this for a minute. So last year, right? We're talking. We're at Wabash comps. We just found out we passed comps, right? So we're elated. Literally the rest of the year, it's just don't fail any classes, get your credits, and you're smooth sailing. You're going to graduate. So he's in the middle of all this grading, and I go over to his room on like a Saturday, right? And we're going to play the show for, until lunch at Sparks. And I see him grading, and I see his spreadsheet open, right? And there's this like one name that sticks out, and it's Calvin Throckmorton. And I'm like, that's a mouthful to say, but boy, that just sounds like a guy who's not very good. And so I look at his grade on it, and his spreadsheet's got round 1, 2, 3, 4, all that. And then it says UDFA if the guy's not getting drafted. And like this guy's at like the bottom of the list, UDFA grade. And I'm like, man, I think you need to go back and watch some more tape. Calvin Throckmorton is killing it. And so for like the last year, anytime he finds Calvin Throckmorton footage, he's like, oh man, I might give him that late 7th. But
do you remember where he is, what he plays?
He plays at LSU.
No.
No.
I like the confidence. No.
He's an offensive tackle, ain't he?
Yeah, he's offensive tackle, yeah.
Offensive tackle, Ole Miss?
No.
SEC, right? SEC, right?
No.
Oh, shoot.
Pac-12.
Oh, really?
Oregon.
Really?
Yeah.
I could have swore he was LSU.
No. He might have been decent if he was at LSU. Who knows? If
he was at LSU, they wouldn't have won the Natty. So.
Damn, that might be true. Joe Burrow might need a little bit more escapability. I know. I think Oregon, they've got their left tackle now. He was a true sophomore last year. He'll be a top 5 pick next year, so keep an eye on that. He's good.
Yeah.
It's not bad for them to say, hey, if this kid declared as a true sophomore left tackle, he could have been in the NFL day 1 starter, but here we are.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, and then I guess while we're here, so I do have a mock draft coming out.
Let's do it.
I believe it'll be after the combine wraps up. Once we get clarification on medicals, like Tua is a big one, right? If he comes in, they find a problem with his hip that he just had surgery on. Yeah, he could slide quite a bit. But if he comes back completely healthy, it's not likely, but there's a chance that he can go number 1 still. So you never know what'll happen. I don't think he will. I think Burrow's got that locked up, but
and honestly, like Detroit's got the 3 pick, right?
Yeah,
because Washington's got 2.
Yeah,
Washington. They're probably going to take what, Chase Young at 2.
Washington, yeah.
Yeah. So at 3, I mean, they got Stafford, but I've heard the rumors that they're probably looking at a quarterback at 3, or they're going to trade the pick. Would you take a less than 100% Tua over a fully healthy Justin Herbert?
Depends on the team. I think for Detroit, I would take Tua. But for a team like, say, the Chargers...
Probably because the offensive line's terrible and you need someone who can move.
Yeah. If you're taking... I'm looking at the Chargers, I'm probably going Herbert.
They're at 5, right?
6.
They're at 6. Okay.
So in my mock, I'm gonna throw some trades in there, try to give it a little bit of some spice.
Yeah.
I believe I have Miami moving up from 5 to 3
Yeah.
with Detroit. Miami then getting Tua, so they still tank for Tua. They keep all their first round picks. They don't. They're only moving up 2 spots. Detroit's still going to get who they want at 5.
Sure.
So I think it works out for them. I think I've got another trade. I think it's from the Jets moving from 11 to 8 to jump ahead of Cleveland to get an offensive tackle, because I don't know if you saw, Cleveland doesn't have a left tackle anymore because Greg Robinson got arrested at the border.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I did. I saw
158 pounds of weed.
Well, no, I saw Van Pelt. I want to say is Van Pelt or somebody on one of those late night ESPN shows. It was like, well, Sunday night we went from NBA players needing to get to 157 to an NFL player getting caught with 157. So
it was rough.
Who said
I have
that?
a hard time believing he gets back to Cleveland.
Yeah. What a
uh,
Cleveland thing to do, though. You know what I mean?
And
what a Cleveland.
So they're down. I mean, that's going to put. I mean, Cleveland's not going to need an offensive tackle at 10. That's going to make the Jets want to move up to get ahead of them to get their guy. There's I think there's 3 or 4 offensive tackles who can go in that range. So it's not like if you don't trade up, you're not going to get anybody. But
sure,
if you want to get your guy, you've got to move up a little bit.
Sure. So without really unveiling too many names, because I know the combine really hasn't happened yet, the big ticket items in terms of how you grade your draft board hasn't really happened, so you don't really have a final mock out yet. If you look at your first round now, which position is likely going to have the most first round picks?
I don't know. I want to say wide receiver, but I think there's so many good. I want it because there's so many good receivers, but I think they're going to drop. I think that's going to hurt them. I think there could be 3 or 4. So quarterback's always an option.
Do you have the wide receiver? Does that have the most first round grades?
Yeah.
Really?
Actually, if I pull it up real quick, bear with me.
So, and I mean, obviously in the draft, quarterback tends to be an inflated position. It has inflated value, correct? That's not really going out on a limb.
Yeah.
Do you think this year the quarterback position gets inflated to that kind of degree? You have
I don't know,
that could go in the first 6.
Yeah, and the free agent market's going to make it difficult. But I think like a guy like Jordan Love out of Utah State, if he has a big week, because I know the combine, the field drills are obviously important. It's good to see what they can do with the ball, but the interviews are going to be a huge deal. Medicals are going to be a huge factor in where they go. Jordan Love could sneak into the top 10 if, say, the Panthers might need a quarterback to replace Cam Newton. If everybody's gone, they could just sit at 7 and take them. And that's 4 quarterbacks in the top 7 then that are taken.
Sure.
But for me right now, I have 5 wide receivers with round 1 grades. 3 of them are in my top 6.
Wow.
4 in my top 11.
Wow.
So
top
heavy. It could get crazy. Yeah. I mean, the top 3, CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, it's stupid how good they are. Sure. I mean, Henry Ruggs could probably if he goes full speed and gives it 100% ever, I think he can break the record for the 40. I mean, really? I know he's
sub 4.2.
Blazing speed, and it'll be close. I mean, he'd probably get 4.2 flat.
Really? No kidding.
There was a video earlier this week that came out of. It was the Alabama receivers racing their defensive backs in a 4x100, and Ruggs was the last leg, and he gets it, and it's neck and neck. He beats this dude by 30 meters. Just
no kidding.
I mean, and wow. Alabama's no slouch when it comes to athletes. So it's not like he's racing against nobody.
Sure.
But I don't know. I mean, wide receivers, I think there's so many good guys that it'll probably force somebody down because you're not forced to spend an early pick when you can kind of sit in the 2nd or 3rd round and still get a starter.
Sure.
But it's going to be interesting. I think quarterback's always the option. I think 4 go first round, maybe 5. Offensive tackle's big this year, though. I think that's probably the sleeper to get, because I think you're going to probably have 1 go top 10, 2 more go in the top 15, and then 2, maybe a third sleeper comes into the back end of the first round, so that gives you 5 or 6 offensive tackles.
So if wide receiver and offensive tackle are strong this year, what are positions that you deem to be weak?
Tight end's not great.
Okay.
There's a handful of decent players, but it's not like a great class, especially considering what we've seen recently.
Is there any like round 1, 2 guys that you would?
The only one that could fringe be like maybe top of round 2 is Cole Kmet out of Notre Dame, which obviously it's Notre Dame. They're tight end central apparently.
Sure.
Them at Stanford. I don't really know. Linebacker's a weak year, and I think there's 3 interior linebackers who will be either first round or very close to first round picks. But other than that, I mean, the drop off from, I believe my number 3 linebacker is number 30 overall on my board, but my next linebacker is not until like 70 or 80 something.
Oh wow!
So I mean, there's a huge drop. So if you want to get him, you got to get him early, or else you just have to deal with what you get.
So what about like defensive back, running back?
Running back's deep. It's one. I think it's probably the deepest skilled position players we've had in a minute. I think.
Are you seeing a lot of round 2 and 3 grades, or where's the distribution falling?
I had several day 1 on running backs.
Okay.
Travis Etienne went back to Clemson. That's going to hurt it a little bit, but I don't think they're going to go round 1 just because of we've seen so many running backs just not being as important as first round picks. So you're going to see a lot go day 2. Top of round 2 to middle of round 2 is going to be a run, I think. We saw that a couple years ago with, I think it was Dalvin Cook, Joe Mixon, and then Alvin Kamara all went pretty quick on day 2. So defensive backs, cornerback is a premium in the NFL. You've got to have a shutdown guy. There's only 2 that I think are really good, and that's Jeff Okudah, who I think is going to go top 5 out of Ohio State. Christian Fulton out of LSU. He'll go top 15 most likely. Cornerback class is very physical, very big this year. A lot of guys 6'2", 200 pounds, play with stupid arms. They can press. So I think cornerback's going to be fine. Safety gets a little bit more of an issue. There's not a lot of speed on the safety side. And it's weird because in the last few years you see so many safeties come out as linebackers. Basically, you're basically an off-ball linebacker who plays in the box on rundowns and then deep on passing situations. 2 of my top safeties are small school guys. There's a guy from Lenore-Rhine, which is a Division II school in North Carolina. I'm not confident in that. And then we've got Jeremy Chin, who played at Southern Illinois, which is, I think, Division I FCS maybe, or FBS, whatever it is. But he's from Fishers, Indiana, so I've kept my eye on him for a while.
Sure.
But yeah, safety class isn't great. My favorite player I've watched so far has to be Amick Robertson, cornerback from Louisiana Tech. He's like 5'9", $170. Curious to see what he weighs in at the combine, but dude can hit. He can play the ball. I think he's gonna be a great slot corner in the NFL. So it'll be a good class. This is probably the best class I've seen since I've started doing this. So
really,
yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing your boards as more information comes out.
Yeah, I'll try to release my final big board should be out the week before the draft. Is going to be my hope. But we'll see. Just trying to get that ready. I mean, I think I have like 235 more players to watch. So
okay,
can't finalize it yet, but we'll see what happens.
Sure. All right, that sounds awesome, man. We're looking forward to it. Well, we'll have more draft coverage as we get closer here to the draft. So
yes, sir.
That'll be good. So
you
got anything else you want to touch up on?
I don't think so. I don't know what else is really going on in sports this week. I know that, Pacers got their ass kicked last night. I don't know if you saw
Yeah.
that one.
Well, I did, but let's talk about the Pacers and Knicks running it back in the Garden Saturday night. No, Friday night. They ran it back on Friday.
Yeah.
Pacers 8-point win in the Garden. They acted happy about it. I mean, anybody can beat the Knicks in the Garden. Let's just get that clear. You know what I mean?
To be
But
fair, the Pacers have been struggling, so they needed that big
yeah,
time.
they did. But as you said last night, they played Toronto, right? And
Yeah.
just got.
They were down in the first quarter. They were down 32-6.
I mean, that's the Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder of basketball games. That is bad.
Wasn't great. But, I mean, I know that Victor Oladipo didn't play because they don't want to play him too. He doesn't have a minute restriction at this point, but they don't want to play him in back-to-backs or in consecutive nights if he's going to be sore. But they were down, I believe, 38 points with like 8 minutes left. Sabonis is still in the game. And this is a guy who, every time he's in the game, he takes an elbow to the chin.
Yeah.
He's falling awkwardly. Jeremy Lamb got hurt. I don't know if I haven't seen any status on him yet. I mean, Nate McMillan's got to figure out what the hell he's doing before he keeps throwing these guys out there in meaningless minutes. TJ Leaf had to play. You know you're getting killed when TJ Leaf checks.
This upcoming week in sports, we got leap day end of the month. This week. Just some NBA stuff, more spring training. Hockey season's starting to come to a close here. I mean, anything you're looking forward to this week in particular?
Not off the top of my head.
I understand.
I got midterms this week, so that's like my main priority. So that's all I can really focus on. Is your birthday coming up this week?
It is.
Right, you did 28th?
Yeah, 28th.
Yeah. See, I remember some shit. I know I'm talking about.
Dude,
have a little
thanks
birthday
for
thing
remembering.
on next week's.
I appreciate that. Good looking out, man. Good looking out. No, I'm looking forward to seeing how many Zamboni drivers and hot dog deliverers the Leafs can lose to this week. So, we'll get it in there. So that'll be fun. The Knicks, maybe they cop an 0-3 week this week. Maybe they don't. Either way, we're playing for LaMelo at this point. So
no, you're playing for the right to lose the number one pick so somebody else gets Melo. We've seen this before. I remember your little, we're getting Zion. Lottery comes around. This is bullshit. We don't need Zion. We got RJ Barrett.
100% true story. This time last year, I was literally KD, Kyrie, Zion, all the Knicks uniforms, and 0 of those 3. 2 of the 3 ended up playing in New York. They just played in Brooklyn instead of Manhattan. So
now, question: would you rather have KD, Kyrie, and Zion, or Frank Ntilikina, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, and who else? Bobby Portis, maybe? I don't even know. Elfrid Payton.
Marcus Morris Sr. wasn't that bad. Then we shipped him cross country.
Who's the other big they signed?
They signed 8.
Tosh Gibson.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, you got a super team. I don't know what you're bitching about. Some teams would kill for that. You're telling me right now that Tulane University wouldn't kill to have that starting spot?
Man, Damius Dotson. Who else? Boy, it's kind of embarrassing when you go through the names.
They have Dennis Smith.
They do, yeah.
Damn, they're really good at having power forwards and point guards who can't shoot.
Yeah, that's true.
Not great.
They got a lot of overpaid guys. We're getting Giannis next year, though. 2021, that's going to be our summer,
When are you guys going to learn?
Never, man. I like getting my hopes up. I like getting them up just to have them shattered.
Probably sign Antonio Gates. He's not playing football anymore. We get ourselves another big guy down the The
Dude,
Knicks.
maybe Kevin Garnett will come out of retirement to throw on a Knicks jersey.
You can only hope, I guess.
Dude, I can't wait. Can't wait to get Marcus Cousins and his 13 game a year played. Get him up in the Garden. So, dude, if LaMelo ends up going to New York, I might have to stop being a Knicks fan. It's just,
he's looking good.
Not only will we win only 14 games a year, but everyone will laugh at us because LeVar. I mean, they might as well just give him the head coaching job. They might as well just.
Give it to Dolan.
Oh my God.
Dolan's earned it, dude.
Dude,
and you can run a front office as efficiently as he has. I'm just saying, maybe you should have some input on who's in the game.
Yeah, goodness gracious. I mean, honestly, like if he sold the team, maybe people would start looking at New York as a viable option. But like, you would need a complete overhaul. You would need like Mike Woodson, Mark Jackson. You would need so many brilliant minds that they don't have to get that team to turn around. It's just, I love being 12th place in the Eastern Conference year in and year out. Don't get me wrong.
It's pretty sick.
it's pretty nice knowing your team's eliminated by the All-Star break every year. You know, that's pretty nice.
I mean, then you don't have all that stress on your shoulders.
No, that's
you could
true.
be like the Bucks and clinch last night, and we gotta keep going. That's not fun.
No, that's true. That's true.
Damn. Yeah, the Knicks suck.
They do badly.
Battlehawks.
Oh,
Battlehawks.
Let's talk about the Battlehawks. Dude, they're 3-0 against the spread, dude.
Yes, sir.
That's what matters, you know.
They were running the ball all over the place yesterday.
Yeah. If the Renegades are proud of last week's win, you didn't even cover the spread, dude. Like, sorry, you can't be proud of that.
The Defenders got shit on this week too. Yeah. Everything we thought we knew about the XFL. And
that's true. That's true. 2-1 Battlehawks, though, man. I mean, they might be the team to beat at this point.
Are they? Oh, maybe it was them. Never mind. Was anybody else undefeated? I know DC lost. I can't remember if the Roughnecks won or not. No, the Roughnecks won because PJ Walker kicked ass again.
I want to say nobody's undefeated. I want to say that was Houston 2-0 last week.
Yeah, I think so. Hang on, I'll check. Because I believe Houston is the only undefeated team. XFL standings. This is live in the flesh for you folks.
Ooh, what a treat. I'm jealous that you guys get to watch this happen as it's going on. You guys should be just so thankful. You guys are getting that live action off of the Around the Leagues podcast, man. We are giving you guys a treat.
Yeah, the Roughnecks are undefeated. They're 3-0.
Okay.
Battlehawks are leading the East at 2-1.
Woo!
The Defenders are 2-1. Tampa Bay Vipers keep kicking ass. 0-3. Only team without a win.
Sure.
Dragons. Who'd the Wildcats beat? I think the Wildcats beat the Defenders.
I like that.
So the Roughnecks, I think, beat the Vipers. Yeah, let's see. The Battlehawks play the Dragons next week. They finally play on a Saturday. They've been playing the stupid late Sunday game every freaking weekend.
Hey, man, they put the best on last.
That's what they do. I respect it.
I do too, man.
They're going to carry themselves to the XFL championship, whatever the hell it's called. I don't even know how their playoffs work. I don't know anything about it, but you know what?
The NFL's got the Vince Lombardi. The XFL's got the Vince McMahon. So,
yeah.
They're going to kill it. So, oh, man. So, but I think that's all we got for him today. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. believe so.
All
We went
right.
over an hour for you guys, so
Yeah, what a treat. What a treat. You guys got that free podcast today.
Yes, sir. Do you want
Man.
to let everybody know where they can find you?
Yeah, if you guys want to, you can check me out on Twitter at Keanan Allstott. Look in the description for the spelling of my name. It's just at my name. You can guys see my live coverage from Saturday night. We, as the bigger pay-per-view cards and everything come up, I'll be live tweeting those. Title fights, you'll see me on there. And if anything else comes up in particular, that's where you can find me. Instagram, you can find me at Keenan's Corner, spell the corner with a K. I'm not on there very often, but when I do, you can bet the posts are expensive. They should be pay-per-view, but I give them to you for free, and you guys are welcome. So what about yourself? Where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Luke Parrish _NFL. I had to think about it there for a second.
Yeah.
And I'll put links in the description for you guys. I'll put where you can find us. I'll got our pages linked there. And then I don't really use Instagram. Twitter's basically all I use. So
yeah,
follow me. Try to help me out. I'll help you out. And
yeah,
we'll see you guys next Monday. Figure out what we're going to talk about. We'll see. It'll be a good week. We'll figure something out.
We'll keep you entertained. Don't worry.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We will catch you next time.
Take it easy, guys.